Took me a while to get it set up, y'all. Let me cut this mic down. Yeah. Alright, just making sure. My first live stream, so if you're new to the channel and you see this stream, be sure to like the video, hit the subscribe button. I don't know what we about to watch. I was trying to set it all up, but the stream was giving me difficulties. That's why I couldn't get it set up until about 8:08. But we got it going now. I was looking up the DreamTeam documentary, and I really didn't know which one that people wanted to watch. So I'm gonna probably end up going with this one. This one's about 1 hour and 8 minutes long, so
times.
Yeah, that's not too loud. But I wonder how we can get the chat up over there. Let me see. We can do some timestamps. This was the time y'all selected. Y'all said y'all wanted to get the stream going at 8 o'clock. I figured Saturday would be a good day to start it. But if not, drop some in the comments. If y'all think a different day would be better, then leave that in the comments and we can probably work on that. Get it going. Probably every couple of days. Every day for real. Probably 2 or 3 times out the day. But I don't want to talk y'all heads off. Let's get this stream going. We got the NBA TV's The DreamTeam documentary. I really hope they don't copyright this. But let's get it. Silly.
Why do people talk about dreams so much in sports? Dream seasons. Dream matchups. Dream opportunities. They do it because so much of sports is about imagining what you want things to be like. If only the setting were just right.
It was one of those times none of us will ever forget.
The characters just right.
I don't know anything about Angola, but Angola's in trouble.
The timing just right.
11 Hall of Famers. I don't think you can ever do that again at no point in time.
If only it could all be the way you might have dreamed it up yourself.
Oh, you filming? Yep.
That was the most exhilarating 15 seconds of my life.
People perceived us as being superheroes.
Please, Michael Jordan!
No Isaiah Thomas stuff.
No Isaiah Thomas question.
Cool. We became.
Hold on now. Hey, what's up? Why Michael Jordan ain't want to hear no Isaiah Thomas questions? Do they really got that kind of beef? Like, drop some in the comments, man. I didn't know that they was beefing like that.
A team, and that team just stomped on everybody.
This never happened in sports. Nowhere.
Well, I figured eventually there'd be a movie made about the Dream Team.
This group may well be the greatest team ever assembled in the history of team sports.
See what we got going on here. I don't know if anybody tuned in yet, but I don't know why that looked like that. Let's see. Hell, capture the rice. I don't know what that's about. Man, this chair acting up. I gotta give me a new chair, y'all. My bad for making y'all wait. I'm trying to get this color right. I don't know why going? Why is it doing that? Oh, that's probably annoying. Well, I probably ain't gonna be able to get it better. This chair crazy right now. Y'all see me keep going down and down and down. They just want to keep going down and down. So ain't nothing I can really do about it. That probably helps out with the color though. My bad, y'all. We gonna get there. Yeah, I think that might be where we needed to be. Let's get back to the video though. Why is my chat box not popping up? Oops.
God bless you, and God bless America.
Is that John F. Kennedy? Or is that Clinton? I forgot. I forgot the presidents, y'all. I don't really know the presidents all like that. Ah, man. Yeah, I forgot what the president's name was, man. I think that's Bill Clinton, though, now that I think about it. That's who that is. That's Bill Clinton. I don't know why I said John F. Kennedy, man. R.I.P. his soul. All right, y'all. Let's get it.
20 years can go by pretty fast, and the world isn't going to stop and wait for you to remember what it used to look like. 1992 was a time of change. New faces in America quickly transforming into cultural icons. None more so than the superstars of the NBA.
The Bulls have repeated. Let the party begin.
After the legends of the 80s had lifted the league's profile to new heights, a fresh crop of players had blown the lid off.
Charles Barkley, man, he was serious, wasn't he?
Their talent,
David Robinson,
and their charisma made them more than just basketball players.
I am not a role model.
They were a new kind of star athlete whose popularity transcended the game.
Is it the shoes? No, Mom.
And now the very best of them awaited their brightest showcase, the world's largest athletic stage, the Olympic Games in Barcelona, Spain, even if no one truly realized the impact they would make there.
It's a watershed moment in the history of sports, not just the Olympics, not just basketball. It moved the culture along.
But in 1992, not everyone was ready for them. Not everyone thought pro basketball stars had a place in the Olympics.
This kind of thing had never, ever been done. So there was a lot of, poking the bear, if you will, by people in my profession. Sports journalists and journalists in general were skeptical, angry, because this wasn't the Olympic movement.
The Olympic ideal had always been about amateur competition, which meant the United States had always sent basketball teams made up of college kids. Teams that dominated for decades.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that the NBA wasn't a part of the Olympics until now. That's. I learn something new every time I do a reaction. I swear I do. Hit the like button, y'all. Hit the like button. Silly.
In 1972, the Soviet Union was awarded a victory over the U.S. in a controversial gold medal game.
The United States apparently had won the game, but the debate still goes on.
To this day, that American team still hasn't claimed their silver medals.
They didn't do what? Hold on. Where we at? 4:15? Go 4:05.
States apparently had won the game, but the debate still goes on.
To this day, that American team still hasn't claimed their silver medals. But that result seemed like a fluke when the Americans got the gold in their next 2 Olympic appearances.
U.S. has its 9th gold medal.
While the U.S. celebrated, though, the rest of the world was catching up. So in 1988, when the Soviets won again, there was no talk of any fluke.
The United States goes home with a semifinal loss to the bigger, more experienced USSR team.
Wow.
I was embarrassed.
I didn't know that.
I know some of the guys left their medals there in the room. They didn't want to take them home. And here we are, USA on our chest, and we didn't get the job done.
But the amateur ideal had gotten muddled. While NBA players were prohibited from Olympic competition, professionals from other leagues abroad could play.
If you played in Europe for money, you were an amateur, but if you played in the NBA for money, you were a professional. And so our players weren't eligible.
Those other countries were using pros, playing against 18, 19-year-old kids.
Oh, yeah, it was getting over.
Really unfair.
Changing the hypocrisy, though, was a central goal of a European named Boris Stankovic, the head of FIBA, the World Basketball Federation.
He was very much intent on lifting basketball up to the highest possible level of international sports. And if the whole world knew that the very best players in the world were not participating in the Olympics, that made it a second-class event.
So in 1989, Stankovic issued a resolution to allow pros from all leagues to compete in the Olympics. But back in America, the NBA was lukewarm to the idea.
We wanted to be good partners with FIBA to grow the sport of basketball, but we weren't particularly anxious. We didn't know what it would mean. We didn't know if our players would want to do it. We didn't know what the logistics were, but the vote passed, and NBA players were eligible for the Olympics.
Yeah, they had to make it like that.
Now the issue wasn't about whether American pros could play, but whether the best players wanted to play.
The one guy that, that we were a little concerned about was probably Michael.
The thought back then was Michael Jordan plays 36 holes of golf 90 days during the summer. What the hell is he going to be doing playing basketball?
I was hoping they would not ask me to participate. And I was trying to figure out a way graciously that I could decline. I'd done the Olympic thing before, and when Rod Thorne called me and asked me, I wasn't gung-ho about it.
My appeal to him was, you're the top player in the world. This is bigger than the NBA Finals. And, we need you. His thing, well, who else is playing? I mean, are all the good players going to play? I'm not going to play by myself.
So Michael Jordan waited to hear more. And Rod Thorne made his next call.
It was a no-brainer for me. I was in from day one. And I figured if I jumped in first and said I wanted to play, that would get guys to want to participate as well.
I think if Magic wasn't on that team, I don't think it would have been as spectacular as it was. And to finish out our careers, that was important for both of us.
Yeah.
Once you get guys like Magic and Larry committing to the team, then all of a sudden it becomes something very, very special. Representing the USA is already a tremendous honor, but to know that you're going to be on a dream team is a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Magic, Bird, and David Robinson weren't alone in their pride.
They called in the big guns. We're the Navy SEALs that we had to go over there and kick butts and take names.
With those stars and the Utah Jazz tandem of John Stockton and Karl Malone, the Dream Team was starting to take shape.
It don't matter if you call me last. I got the call.
I didn't feel like that I deserved to be called, but I truly wasn't going to tell them that.
I was like, yeah, I'm in. I didn't even think to say who was on the team. I'm like,
Chris
yeah, I'm
Mullin?
good. Yes.
Charles Barkley's ability was never in question, but his attitude was.
God want us to win the world championship.
I don't know if I go that far, Charles.
No, I talked to him the other night.
I learned early in Philadelphia. It doesn't matter what I say. So from this day forward, I'm gonna say what the hell I wanna say. And some people gonna like it, and some people gonna dislike it.
But after a series of incidents on and off the court, the least of the committee's concerns were about what Barkley would say.
I was asked to talk to him. He was so honored that we would even think about asking him. He convinced me that you won't have any problems with me.
Now, with the team nearly complete, Rod Thorne had enough talent secured to go back to where he started.
Representing my country was a big thing, but I think, the biggest motivation for me was now I get to spend time with some of the guys I compete against all the time.
Right.
Portland's Clyde Drexler rounded out the list of NBA players, while the final spot on the roster was reserved for an amateur, Duke's Christian Laettner, coming off back-to-back NCAA titles.
There's the pass to Laettner. Puts it up. Yes!
In any other Olympic year, Laettner might have been the team's biggest star, but on this team, he was fine with being the last guy on the bench.
I'm not hip to Chris Laettner, y'all. Somebody give me hip to Chris Laettner. Please tell me who he played for. We can do some videos on him.
I tell people this all the time, and it may shock them, but my most enjoyable year was my freshman year because they don't expect nothing from you except carry the luggage, do the laundry, and get our donuts. And that's easy. The harder thing is to be the leader.
By May of 1991, 2 months before the Olympics.
Who we got here? So we got your boy Chris Laettner right there in the middle. We got Patrick Ewing. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Magic Johnson, David Robinson, Clyde Drexler. We got Charles Barkley. We got Larry Legend himself in the flesh. That ain't Clyde Drexler. That's Karl Malone back there next to Charles Barkley. Clyde down here to the bottom right. So who was number 12? Number 13 must have been Chris Mullins. We got Scottie Pippen. Who was number 12, y'all? Drop that in the comments.
The team was set. One college kid and 11 future Hall of Famers. The man charged with putting it all together was the unflappable Chuck Daly.
Okay, all set?
I'm set.
Chuck looked the part. He was the guy that looked like he owned the arena, but he would also push the broom.
His hair was beautiful. His suits were immaculate. He wanted to win, but he wanted to look good.
As the head coach of the Detroit Pistons, Daly did both, winning back-to-back championships in 1989 and 90.
The Pistons
Oh, with the
winners
Pistons.
and still champions of the world.
Hey, that's why they brought him on the team. Yeah, all of that. His hair was nice. He wore the best suits. But they brought him on the team because he led the Detroit Pistons to the championship. And everybody know that was the bad boy Pistons. We've been doing some videos on him. If you're new to the channel, check him out. Check out the channel. I got a few videos on the bad boy Pistons that I just dropped this week. But if you know, the bad boy Pistons, they was going to duke it out with you to win if they had to. And I ain't talking about like banging it out in the paint, pause, like going hard in the paint. I'm talking about fight. Duke it out with you.
The Pistons were nicknamed the Bad Boys for their aggressive and some said dirty style of play, never more evident than in their memorable playoff battles with Michael Jordan's Bulls.
Michael on the move against Vinnie Johnson to the hoop. He is necktied. Michael Jordan goes down hard.
Detroit and Chicago had no love for each other.
So when Daly was named the Dream Team coach, many wondered how he'd handle working with the Bulls' biggest star.
I was being asked to wrestle with some demons and some issues.
But the coach was well acquainted with the task of managing personalities.
He coached the bad boys. And if you can coach those, you can coach anybody.
One player Daly wouldn't be coaching in the Olympics, however, was his own star in Detroit, point guard Isaiah Thomas, who controversially had been left off the team's roster.
No matter how much people try to say now, you know, it was no big a deal. It was a big deal.
I talked to Isaiah at the beginning of the year about the aspect he wasn't on the team, and he was not comfortable with it. I'm sure he is very hurt. He's a very deserving player, but you know, he was not selected.
Thomas was well on his way to a Hall of Fame career, but was also seen by many as the biggest cultivator of the bad boys image in Detroit.
Isaiah was the general. He was the guy that would yap at his teammates and say, knock them on the ass, do whatever you got to do.
A beautiful backdoor pass from Pippen, and he is walloped. He knew he was going to get hit.
I despised the way that he played the game.
Did you want him on the Dream Team?
No, I did not want him on the team.
Did Michael? Did you want him on the team?
Well, I can't speak for Michael, but I don't think he wanted him on the team.
No, he didn't.
Now, there has been speculation that your icy relationship with Isaiah Thomas is the reason that he was not selected. Well, what is your reaction to that?
That was one of the stipulations put to me prior to me even committing, that Isaiah wasn't a part of the team. I was getting strong innuendos that it wasn't just, you know, it was coming from higher places that didn't want Isaiah Thomas on the team.
Certainly, things are being pointed at me because of our relationship, and of course about the way that the end of the game between Detroit and Chicago ended.
We were picking the group just after the Pistons had been eliminated by the Bulls, and it was very bad timing for Isaiah. Everybody had fresh in their mind the picture of Isaiah walking off the court.
Pistons wasting no time in getting out of here. They left the bench, although there's 7 and 9/10 seconds remaining. The Pistons just left.
When the Pistons walked off the court before the final bell, I think it left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths.
All right, no Isaiah Thomas stuff.
No Isaiah Thomas questions.
Cool.
Jordan and the team were done answering questions about Isaiah.
Wow, that say a lot, man. Dang. You know, being a person that's from Detroit, I wasn't raised there, but, you know, I always liked the Pistons. I wasn't really too much of a fan of the bad boy Pistons because I never knew nothing about them. But, you know, watching them play, I thought that they played dirty the way that they played because maybe they just didn't have the talent like some of the other teams, like, you know, Michael Jordan and, you know, Larry Bird and the Celtics and Magic Johnson and the Lakers and, you know, just so on and so forth. But now I understand that this was more so a strategic move that they did in order to win. Is, I don't want to say a bad thing, but it's just more so like unsportsmanlike, on top of, you know, them wanting to injure people. And now I ain't gonna say they wanted to injure people, but, you know, just statements like, do whatever you gotta do, knock them on their butt, you know, just to win, you know. And then when they say Isaiah Thomas was basically the leader of all of that, he was the one that was more so giving his teammates the push to be foulers and everything like that. Is even crazier, you know. And I don't know if y'all even seen it, but it was a second where Isaiah Thomas had tried to, you know, get a little physical with Larry Bird. And, you know, he tried to throw a little elbow at him, and Larry Bird took the elbow on the chest, like, and it was unfazed. Like, he was walking, and he threw the elbow. Isaiah Thomas threw the elbow at him, and Larry Bird got hit with the elbow, and just kept walking. Like, didn't really even pay him no attention, because he was like that much of a smaller guy to Larry Bird. So, man, like, that's crazy that he got left. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's crazy that he got left off the team, but it is. You know what I mean? Isaiah Thomas is a Hall of Famer, you know? But at the same time, like, they felt like he wasn't going to be a good fit. So, man, I'm just kind of mind blown off the whole situation because I never knew that. You know, that's why I'm come here and do these reactions to learn this stuff anyways. But now I know that Isaiah Thomas got left off the team because it was basically they felt like you was unsportsmanlike, man. You know what I mean? Like you wasn't someone in the league when you competed against each other that showed character on that level of having sportsmanship to the better team. And secondly, they felt like you probably would have been, I mean, if things didn't go your way overseas representing the United States, you probably would have embarrassed the States. And, you know, the Olympics at that point in time was like their first year, you know, doing it as pros. Pause. But yeah, you know, playing in the Olympics as pros instead of college players to redeem themselves after losing 2 times to the USSR, the Soviet Union. Like that's just, I mean, now that I'm learning all of this, I mean, I know more about my history with basketball, but at the same time, like I'm mind blown too at the whole situation because now I understand it. But hey, this your boy Dtae. Drop some in the comments. Let's get back to the video.
But with training camp approaching, a bigger question would need to be answered.
Hello, how you doing?
How would the 12 stars that were selected play together?
Welcome.
Training camp began on June 22nd, 1992, in La Jolla, California. And when the gym doors opened, no one was quite sure what to expect, especially the players themselves.
It's a lot of egos in one gym and on one team. Everybody wanted their form to shine and showcase why they were a part of this team.
With all these stars on the team, if it comes down to the last shot, who's gonna take the shot?
Me. Everybody in the world has an ego. The only difference between us, we have a reason to have an ego.
Every one of us felt like we was everybody.
And when practice started that first day, every player seemed to be trying to prove just how great they were.
It was a very competitive practice, and I'm thinking, aren't we all on the same team?
Patrick go, I don't want to play with David, I want to play against him. Then you hear Michael say, I don't want to be on Magic's team, I want to play against him.
Every evaluation of Michael Jordan at that time was, he's good, but he's never Magic Johnson. In my competitive nature, I want to use every little bit that I could gather so that I can gain an advantage.
Respect. So this is where people come out with who better, Michael Jordan or Magic Johnson. This is where it comes out who's better. And I finally get to get my analysis on it after watching this.
Karl Malone, he's the only guy I would even compare to myself at the power forward position. So I want to prove that I was the best power forward in the world.
Charles. Yeah, he's a great talent. Do I think he's better than me? Hell no. So let's do this. By the time this over with, you're gonna be thinking I'm damn good too.
The first practice, Barkley drives baseline and Karl Malone jumps up like this. Barkley just dunked on him so hard. Oh! It was just an unbelievable play. I felt like, man, I cannot believe that I'm part of this practice.
Post Malone got dunked on by Charles Barkley. Hey, that's tough.
A few days later, the team had a chance to acclimate themselves to playing on the same side. Chuck Daly had scheduled a scrimmage against a select group of college players, a group thrilled to be facing off against their idols.
I found out today I might be picking up Magic a little bit full court, so, you know, things are just happening for me. It really makes me happy.
Who was Bobby Early, y'all? Who was Bobby Early? Hurley. Who was Bobby Early? What professional team did he play for when he got drafted?
My whole thought process was don't embarrass yourself, and that was like the theme for me, like just hang in there.
A lot of those people that I've looked up to, Barkley, Malone, a lot of those people talk confidence, and I think it's going to be a good matchup, you know. There's no advantage on either side.
For the college players, it was a chance to see how they'd match up against the world's best.
Let's take a look here. I see Grant Hill, I see Chris Webber, but that's pretty much all I know. And then we know we got Bobby Early right there too. That's pretty much all I know. I know somebody named Rodney was on the team because I just did a video, and the guy Rodney had said something slick to Larry Bird, and Larry Bird had dropped like 18 straight points on him. So I know somebody named Rodney was on there, but I don't know which one of these guys is Rodney. If you know who Rodney is on this video, in this picture right here, point him out to me, drop some in the comments, put their number there too so I can know. But let's get back to the video.
For Coach Daly, it was an opportunity to get his stars to grow into a single unit.
I think we're somewhere between the mentality of an all-star game and trying to come together as a team. So we've got to continually work on this.
Daly had been hired for his ability to manage personalities and egos. And when the scrimmage began, it became apparent that his players had left one of their biggest weapons, those egos, somewhere else.
A non-fan would think, well, they're going to go in there and they're each going to want their own ball, and Jordan's going to be hogging the ball, and Magic's going to be dribbling all over the place. Point of fact, it was the exact opposite. They overpassed.
It was like, I don't want to start it off. You do it. And before you realize it, the select team was beating us by 10.
Oh.
We didn't know how to play with each other. We didn't want to step on anybody's toes or hurt any egos. And so these young kids, they were killing us.
Wow, so that said all right there. I've been that player before. I've been on the team where everybody on the team is just as good as me. And instead of me being a person that want to take all the shots, I'm passing the ball, they passing the ball, everybody just sitting around passing the ball. Next thing you know, we down by 5 points. Now somebody got to step up, and by the time then, we all want to step up. But hey, sometimes that can be a good thing because everybody get hot. But I want to see how this played out, which I already kind of know. I just did a video on this where, I guess they stopped the game because the reporters were coming in and let the reporters, I guess they ended up playing another game like a day later or something like that, ended up winning. But I did a video on this. It's on my channel as well.
We were not into it, and we paid for it.
Chris Webber was a man. I thought, boy, that's the guys coming this league. I could get out of here.
Bobby Hurley was dominant.
I did have some success penetrating and collapsing the defense, and our energy, our excitement to play, all those things played in our favor.
Bobby Hurley didn't play 2 seasons in the NBA. Nevertheless, it did expose the one weakness they could have had, which is defending against quick guards.
They were playing great. Then I noticed that Michael Jordan's not playing.
I'm saying something. Chuck, then he said, we're all right. Yeah, we're all right.
Daly watched as his players failed to make up the deficit. And in their first taste of outside competition, the Dream Team lost.
Wow.
The story.
Somebody said that in the comments. The Dream Team lost. I didn't want to believe it, but now I believe it. I know now.
Their coach didn't want the press to get their hands on.
I remember Chuck saying, as soon as the game ended and we were getting ready to let media in, it was erase the scoreboard.
Yep, that's what they said in the other video.
The media comes in, scores, if not hundreds. They can sense something. You can feel the tension, or you can feel something in the air.
Well, some of these college players we've just got through playing against probably should be on this team, but they'll get their chance.
The teams posed for a picture together, both not sure what to make of what had just happened. But the man in charge may have had the answer.
He threw the game. Chuck threw the game. If you look how much Jordan played and how he subbed guys in, not picking up, not making any adjustments, he knew what he was doing.
It was legit. It felt tremendous. What we were doing that day, they couldn't stop it.
I kind of feel like he wanted certain people to play on the same like line in the same lineup. He wanted them to play on the same lineup so that they could identify how much they needed people that were on the bench. So you got people like Post Malone, you got Charles Barkley, you got Magic Johnson, you got Patrick Ewing, you got David Johnson. Basically, if you get where I'm going with this, you had all bigs. Yeah, I know Magic Johnson played the guard and so on and so forth, but I mean, all of these guys, 6'8", 6'9", 6'10", 6'11", probably 6'7", you know, they're not gonna be able to, you know, be the type of defensive. They're not gonna be able to play defense on smaller guards, where they would have needed people like Michael Jordan out there to be able to guard smaller guards, and he was used to that, and be able to facilitate. I feel like he did that in order for people to put their egos to the side and understand what they really needed out there in order to win. And we about to see right now. I might be wrong, I might be right, but let's see.
There are kids who believe in Santa Claus too, and in the Easter Bunny, and now that they've grown up, I hate to burst their bubble, but it was a game thrown. Not many people would have done it, and he did it.
It was gratifying to Chuck for us to get our butts beat like that, because now we had to listen to him.
From then on, he had a way of just saying, you could lose.
After fixing his collars and his hair, his speech was, anybody can get beat, so you gotta be ready to play. And I think that's the only speech he ever gave us.
The message got across. I mean, Chuck couldn't have been happier, I'm sure.
It was brilliant on Chuck's part to be able to orchestrate that and play along like he didn't.
Why didn't he tell you guys?
We probably would have screwed it up.
The next day, training camp ended with a rematch against the college kids. And once play started, everything made sense again.
The tables were turned drastically.
We showed them why we are who we are. We pretty much beat them by 100.
Wow.
They couldn't score. And by the way, Jordan played a lot more that next scrimmage.
The only thing I am upset about is they didn't talk about the score. They talked about the score when college kids was out there kicking butt, but they didn't really talk about the score when Michael Jordan and the Dream Team was out there. Give me about a second here. I gotta grab me a bottle of water, y'all.